Hi, I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Heather.
We own Back to Eden up in Woodstock, Connecticut, and this is the beginning of some videos we are going to be doing for all of you out there to help you cope with some of life's pretty serious situations. So today's introduction video is going to be the topic of the rug got pulled out from under you. Now what?
This is a good conversation because this just happened to me last week. So I'll briefly describe what happened. My husband and I own our company. Aside from the coaching and Back to Eden business, we own another commercial company. And we have built the company over the past 16 years together, and it's been extremely successful. And was at the point where it was kind of like operating by itself, and we had finally made the decision for the first time. Actually, my husband made the decision finally to go away. So we scheduled 9 months ago a vacation to go to Wyoming, and it was 9 months in the making, all paid for, ready to go. And 4 days before we were about to leave the company that's running so smooth with great employees, the vendor that we work for basically went over budget and said, all work needs to stop immediately. Your employees need to stop their work, and we have no more work for you until the new year. So, holy cow, brakes got put on everything in our life. And we were frantically scrambling to try to find some other work that we could get through this vendor, which we ended up doing. So that was a miracle in itself, because within the same day, we were about to have to lay off 20 employees. And within a matter of 5 hours, we were offered those crews to go to another side of the company. But the problem is we don't know what we're doing anymore. We hadn't really done that side of the company before. And we weren't really questioning whether our guys could do it. It was a matter of, they can do it. We just need to be prepared. Long story short, I still had a little glimmer of hope that we might be able to go away, because that kind of put the brakes on everything. And within that time frame of talking to my husband and saying, okay, if we can find enough work for them for the next 2 weeks, because we had to now take the responsibility on and getting them work. So if we could do that, could we still go away? And he said, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. So here at Back to Eden, this house is where my heart is. You're sitting outside there. It's beautiful. It's got 2 acres. It's on a lake. It's my heart house. It's where we do all of our weekend classes. I coach out of there. The very next day after that had all happened, walked in, and the ceiling was on the floor. There was so much water damage that the whole roof, basically, not the roof of the second floor, the leak somewhere started in the second floor, went down to the first floor, the ceiling in the first floor collapsed, and water rushed down into the basement. So this was devastating, to say the least, which now I was like, wow, okay, we're really not going anywhere. So it was devastating and shocking. And on the leak side, we have had 2 plumbers. Yeah, we've had 2 plumbers here, and a leak detection service. That's all they do, is find leaks. And the guy came out yesterday and said, I have never not found a leak. And I said, okay, great, because nobody can find the leak. And he couldn't find the leak either. So I'm starting to believe that things happen for a reason. I don't know what the reason is yet, but we are still on.
We're only starting that now.
What's that?
We're only starting to believe that now. Things happen.
No, I've always believed it, but when you're in the midst of it, you're like, what the F?
I know.
Why?
So disappointing. So I take it you didn't go away.
No. So I'm supposed to be in Wyoming right now, and we decided to do this class instead, because I feel like it's really important to talk about what happens when the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. I was at a very comfortable point in my life. We grew this business. It's successful. Now it's time for us to take a vacation. And thing after thing after thing just kept hitting us, and it was canceled. So not only was I disappointed about the vacation, which is small potatoes at this point, considering that I almost had to lay off 20 employees. And not only that, now we're in a new position and we have to prove ourselves and we have to work really hard. And it's extremely stressful. It feels like we started all over again.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
As a coach,
Mm-hmm.
how did you handle all of this when this all started to unravel?
So the first thing I did was call you and cry because you're my mom. So as a coach, I would tell somebody that was calling, you need to have a good support system. And I have I've been very blessed with a great support system, from you to my husband, to my siblings, to my friends. What's that?
Your children.
Oh yeah, my children. I mean, I have an incredible support system. So that was the first thing I did, was just bawl. I cried for days and days and days. I felt so off balance, and I felt like a lot of the teachings that I've had over the past 6 years, and things, when they happen to me, seem to happen huge. So it's kind of like I was so off balance. I didn't know how to get balanced again. And when I felt like I finally started to get a little balanced, it would knock me off again. And that is where my tools that I've learned and that I teach now come in. And that really was using the support system that I have and the affirmations that I use. And one of the biggest ones for me that's always been a theme in my life is I am safe. Because safety is important to me, as far as my family's safe. You know, the building isn't going to crumble. Like my husband said, Heather, the sky isn't falling. You know, we're going to be okay. No matter what, we're going to be okay. And my other thing I always say is, everything is always working out for me, even when it feels like it's not. And this is last week for me, felt like my world was crumbling and everything was not working out for me. It felt like everything was working against me. Yeah. It helped me to say it and really
you have to feel it. You can't affirmations. You have to be able to really believe deeply and affirm within. And one that I always go to, that my mother taught me, was, this too shall pass. It sounds so trite and so, but it does, it passes. And as we experience all the emotions that go along with the disappointment and the devastating occurrences, I say to myself, this too shall pass. In 3 days, you're going to turn around and you're going to find. And here's another thing I want to just suggest too, is that
you're frozen. You're frozen.
going.
Okay, sorry. So another thing you were
Did you
saying.
stop the recording?
I did. What was the other thing you were saying?
I was saying that the painful experiences that we go through are not liabilities. They are a gift. They are a gift. And the gift is that when you dig deep enough inside, you're going to find anything that you need to carry on, first of all. And secondly, it gives you perspective. It gives you meaning to your life. It gives you an understanding that the strengths you have within are there. They're in place. We're not victims. We're never victims.
Yeah. I think that's important too, because I noticed for myself last week where I was really, I was kind of starting to go into victim mode. Like, this always happens to me. Why? Why does my vacation always get canceled? We work so hard. I need this vacation. But it was actually, you know, one of my teachers, who my teacher is Sonia Choquette, for those of you that know Sonia. You know, I just called her last week and was just bawling because she's like, whoa, catch a breath. And she said, Heather, honestly, I don't think they're going to find a leak in your house. I don't think they're going to find a leak. And we've had 3 plumbers here and they haven't found a leak. And we're joking with everybody from the insurance company right down to the plumbers. And everybody is like, you have a ghost. You really have a ghost that probably took a bath and dumped the bath water over. Like, we can't find a reason. And sometimes the reason is spiritual. Like, the reason is there is something that I needed to learn in this. And for whatever reason, everything that we were so comfortable in came to a screeching halt. And that's a very uncomfortable place to be.
There's another thing to always remember is that nothing is permanent. Didn't Sonia say that?
Yes. Yeah. And we're finding that, in the world now, the world is shifting. I'm sure everybody feels that, and everybody that, that is living life today is seeing right down to Mother Earth with the weird storms, the weird fires, our lungs of our planet right now are burning. In Brazil, the rainforest is on fire right now. I mean, everything is either burning or flooding or shifting with earthquakes. I mean, here in Connecticut, we have tornadoes. We've never had tornadoes, and all of a sudden there's tornadoes everywhere. So everything is shifting on the planet.
That just tells me one thing, and that is you can't give birth or life to something new without the old falling away. So all of the surrogate powers, the structures of life itself, everything has to fall down before we can build the new earth. And I think that we are on the cusp of that new earth coming into play. And there's a lot of spiritual things that are happening that a lot of people maybe don't understand. And they look at it, the material thing is crashing, but the spirit is building. The spirit things are really growing. That's exciting to me.
Yeah, I know. My sister called me and said, "Heath, this is exciting." And I was like, I don't want to hear that right now. Because when you're in the midst of it, you don't want to hear that everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. You want to kind of feed the victim a little and be like, no, this is what's happening right now. This is what's in front of me.
Yeah, and you don't understand.
I know. You do. Yeah. When I call you, you do that to me, and I'm like, I don't want to hear it right now, but I need to hear it, because that is the truth. It's everything has its season, and nothing is permanent. Even us as humans, nothing is permanent in this world.
So can you give me a couple of good tools that if someone is going through an experience like this right now and it's devastating to them, how would you advise them? What would you say? Besides, like I said, this too shall pass. That's it seems like, oh yeah, I know that. Something more structural. Can you?
Well, you say that, but actually I have a friend that knows you very well, and she actually got "this too shall pass" tattooed on her arm. Because the saying meant so much to her that when she is in troubled times, she's actually tattooed it on her arm as a constant reminder to her that, nothing is permanent. It will pass. So then and I say that to you because you're my mom, and I'm, I don't want to hear it right now, but really it is comforting. You need the support system, number one. That's the first thing I'm going to say is when you're in the midst of something that's traumatizing, you need the support system because we are human. We're human. We're going to have emotions. We're going to cry. We're going to feel like victims. We're going to be angry. But that's the grief, that's processing, and you have to feel those emotions. So feel the emotions and get them out and sort them out with somebody that you trust. To start to use your affirmations. And if you don't have any, I've got a million. You can get in touch with me and I can give you one that feels right to you. Like I said, for mine was, I am safe. And the other thing is, everything is always working out for me. And for me, meditation is huge. I do a lot of breath work for me. And when I was in the midst of this last week, I literally every 5 seconds was taking breaths every 5 seconds, just in, holding it for 7 seconds, out, exhaling for 5, breathing it again and doing it again. And it really does put endorphins in your brain and slow your thinking down and just gets you centered. And
Right.
you're never going to solve a problem from the energy that it was created from, right, Einstein? Right. So really, in order to get out of that energy, you need the breath to get regrounded and centered. So you'll be able to move forward from that once you get grounded and centered. And that's the way I do it. So thank you guys. And hopefully your rug doesn't get pulled out this week. If it does, give us a call.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.